All right, guys. So here's how returns work. Remember, this is not an earnings claim, and we build Amazon businesses for people who already know about the Amazon sector. They already know about the opportunity for growth here in Australia, right? And they already want to build an Amazon business because they know it's a real business. Their mate had one that made a lot of money. They've been looking into it themselves. They might have their own store already, but they just need some help along. We are not an investment firm, but this is a real world projection based on actual data from the past. And we have proven concept not only in the USA, but also in the UK. We have real world results. We are doing the next 5 businesses that come on board with us. And remember, we will only manage 50 stores ever here for a $500 admin fee. That is your sunken cost for us to do the work. And then the only other cost is to buy your products. So in this scenario, remember I said that the gurus are $40,000 just to start up and another $40,000 for inventory. Like, they won't get out of bed for less. In our model, and this is my business model, 100% risk mitigated in every single aspect, we are offering a startup investment of $500 USD, and you can start with as little as $500 to $1,000 USD for your products. So what is this sheet? This is your 24-month projection sheet. Again, not an earnings claim, right? But based on real live past data, right? And everyone who's doing a business should have one of these projections. This is how we manage your expectations. So we are saying that on average, you'll do a 15% net margin on your sales in year 1 and 20% in year 2. It doesn't matter if you start with $1,000 or $100,000. We are going to mitigate risk by spending, if you're spending $1,000, we'll buy 2 sets of products, maybe 20 to 30 units each for 2 orders of $500, right? And bring 2 products out. If you're doing an investment of $50,000, we might spend $2,000 on 25 different products. That's how we mitigate and amortize risk in terms of products, and in terms of how we mitigate risk in terms of returns. It is by our unique business model, which only takes 50 stores ever, and basically by actually and how we mitigate risk on returns is by reducing your barrier of entry by up to $39,500 and reducing your initial inventory investment to something you can just put money in it to a small amount that you can just put money in to have a look at the returns for yourself before you inject more capital. But in this very basic scenario, we are saying buy for $1,000, again, 2 lots of $500 spent on 2 lots of products. You sell that through in 90 days maximum for a 2.5x markup of goods in general and a 15% net margin. So $1,000 sold for $2,500, you get your $1,000 back plus a profit, net profit of $375. Gross profit is if we ever do profit sharing, just leave it in there, it's the same as net profit. So all you're saying is you get your $1,000 back plus $375 profit. For ease of this to go through this sheet very quickly, if you just take that profit, the whole lot home, and just keep investing $1,000, so never put in another cent except for that $1,500, in the first year, you will make back, right? So you'll make back a profit of $1,625. I know that's small time, but stay with me, all right? Because this is not really how you build a store. This is just showing you that this is just showing you that if all you ever put in is a $1,500 investment, and you just keep reinvesting that $1,000, that over year 1, right, and year 2, with just an improvement in your net margin, right, you will do $1,625 net profit. Now, again, stay with me. That is not a lot, but based on a 12-month net profit of $1,625, your 12-month net trailing profit average is about $150 a month. You know, 1,625 divided by 12. So your business is now valued after 12 months at actually 40. We, again, undermanage expectations at 30, but your business is actually worth 40x your net trailing profit of $150. So your business is now worth $4,000, plus you've made that in profit. So even on your $1,500, you have made, including equity, a 379% ROI. All right. In year 2, nothing changes at all, right? You're just doing a better net margin, right? All that we're saying is that you're making a little bit of a higher profit margin. So you've made $2,000 in the second year. So in that scenario, right, you've made $2,000 plus your $1,625, right, over the 2 years, and your business is now worth $5,000. That's a 466% ROI, including equity. That's the small time stuff and the simple stuff, just to show you, right, how it works. But essentially, right, once you see how this is performing, you're not just going to be putting in $1,000 each time. You might take that money home and go, now that I see it working, I am going to inject another $5,000 here. Let's say $5,000 here. Right? So you're now going to have, right, 5,000 plus 1,000, right, from the previous one. So you are now so you might decide to invest $5,000 on the next round. So now you're investing your 5,000 plus the 1,000 you got back here, right? And then you see the results come through again. Everything's kosher now. I am going to invest $10,000 here. Remember, your profit margin is on top of getting your investment back every 90 days in inventory, right? And then I still see it going well, so I'm going to invest another $15,000 here, okay, right? And then forget that for now, okay? And then when everything goes to plan after year 1, right, you're going to invest another, you're going to invest money down here, all right? So essentially, you've had a look, you saw it work, you saw the profit, you went, okay, I saw it for myself, right, I'm going to put an extra 5,000 plus that 1,000. You sold 6,000 for a 2.5x markup of goods, which is 15K, right? Now your net profit's 2250. Take all that home, right? You invest another 10,000, so now you're investing 16,000, selling it through, and remember, 16,000, 16 different products, amortizing the risk across 16 different products, purchases of $1,000. We're not just going to put it all into one product, but you're mitigating your risk this way by having a look, and you're mitigating your risk by spreading your product lines out. And now you're selling that through 2.5x markup of goods in 90 days, right? Your net profit's that. Quarter 4, I'm going to invest big because in 50% of all sales on Amazon are done in quarter 4. You've had a look, right? So you put in another 15K there. So now you're investing 31,000, right? And you've built it up over time. It all sells through by December. Your net profit's $1,100. All right, you get this money back each time. So now, with that leverage strategy, okay, and that risk mitigated strategy, you've now made $24,000 profit, but your net trailing profit is now closer to $2,000. So even at a 30x multiplier, you've made an equity of $60,000 with a highly risk averse and highly leveraged business model. Now, in year 2, all we're saying is, all right, in year 2, right, you're going to invest an extra So then in year 2, I'm just going to put the extra capital injection here. So so now in year 2, right, we're just going to keep with, right, the last inventory investment. So we're going to just not inject any more capital. You're just going to take what you got back from year 1. You're going to invest it here. All right, you're going to sell it for a 2.5x markup of goods. But this time you're doing a 20% net margin because we're getting products, the store's growing, it's getting better feedback, right? It's got better history, etc., etc. So now, right, you take 31K, sell it through, right, 15% net profit, and then all you're doing now is just adding, you're going back in here and saying, all right, look, I'm comfortable with just adding an extra 15,000, right, each time now. Right, I'm gonna add 15,000 there, 15,000, right, and 15,000. Okay. Or you can say, no, I just want to do the same. I'm just going to do 5,000 quarter 1, 10,000 quarter 2, right, and $15,000 in quarter 3. Same scenario, right? You got that money back, you took the profit home, put the same amount in, invest, sell at a profit, right? Get your money back plus your profit, right? And then inject an extra 5K. Now you're selling 36,000, 2.5x markup, net profit of 20% now. So you take that home, inject another 10K plus that. Now you're doing 46,000, selling at 2.5x, right? And so on. So in year 2, by just adding more capital as you see things and doing the same as year 1, right? In year 2, you have now done, right, over 2 years, a profit of $111,000, and your business after year 2 net trailing profit average is now worth, right, $87,000 divided by 12 times by, times by 30 for a moderate estimate on the value of the business. So you, only after seeing the risks, invested $1,500 to have a look, and you made $217,000 in equity and $87,000 in profit by simply adding more money as you see that you are making money, right? So that's the first thing. So hopefully everyone understands that sheet. And finally, for your fees and your margins. So we give you a theoretical account performance, which we gave you here, all right, based on 15% average margin year 1 and 20% average net profit margin year 2. But as you can see here, they are just lowball averages. We expect to do better, all right? So as you can see here, and this is how we get paid ongoing, guys, all right? Very, very straightforward process. No profit share. All your profits go to you. Cost per unit plus shipping, right, is $30 you might be buying. If you're spending around $1,000, guys, this is how we would kind of do it, all right? Just because you just want to have a look, right? So if you're spending $1,000, you might buy 9 units of this particular product at $30 per unit, 9 of that at 12, 8 of that at 53. We get paid essentially a 20% deployment fee. We take 10%, we give the other 10% to the brand we're buying from to keep them sweet, right? And to make them like us. And that's how we get paid ongoing. So unless you're spending more money in the future, we can't get paid, right? And we've only taken $500 off you to get started. So that's how confident we are, right? We need to make you a profit, or we're not ever going to get paid another cent again. You're going to tell us to nick off, you didn't make us any money, and you're never going to invest any more money, and you're probably going to try and charge back on the credit card payment for $500. Right? That's a joke. We've never been sued. We've never been threatened with a lawsuit. But essentially, right, you're not going to grow a business unless you see the results. And that's why the barrier of entry is low, to bring you on board, show you the results, and then you can invest at your heart's delight. So if your first purchase order is this, right, these 3 different products, it's a $30 cost per unit plus shipping, all right, plus a $3 fee from us and a $3 fee for us to kick back right, the brand. There might be $1 fee to sending it to the Amazon warehouse. Then we have label prep fees and generally no other fees. Sometimes Amazon might have a receiving fee or whatever. These costs are put in beforehand, right? So you can see that your total cost, including our deployment fee for this product, is $33.87. The Amazon fee, which comes out of sales, so the FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon fee, which comes out of sales, is already here, right? The referral fee that is for the privilege of selling on Amazon is here, and you might have storage per unit. So we don't have any advertising costs, but we have that if we're ever doing private label for anyone, which is very rare. So essentially, right, you can see your total cost per unit. You can tell what the average sale price already is because we've done the data research as shown. So you already know, we already expect we're going to do a 47% margin on that product. And the same with these fees, right? We're going to do a 22% and a 30.55% after all costs. So we only get paid when you invest more money. So you get your money back here, you make a nice profit, you go, man, I'm glad I trusted you. This looks like a really good opportunity. Let's do our next order. So we'll do the next order. We might reorder a larger amount of these first lot of units, plus we might add another 30 units of 3 more different products. They're all approved by you again. We do the purchase orders on your behalf, right? And as we sell that through, we then deploy more capital. So you can see that every time we spend money, we are getting your approval. You already know what sort of margins you can get. And if we've had to fiddle with price or whatever, right, eventually once these sell through, this becomes real world data. And we say, all right, great margins on all of them. We reorder again. But you can see here, that's the only way we get paid ever again once you get started with your $500 admin fee, is if you go, hey, great work guys, I spent $1,000, I can see that I made $459 in profit. That's an average margin. So you can see it all there. So then we'll go, all right, so we're going to reorder those products again because we know what margin we're probably going to get. We'll add these other 3. So now you're deploying 4,650. Okay, you sell it through in 90 days and you made a profit of that. That's real world. And of course, you can check all the products out yourself and things like that. Right now, guys, finally, for the kicker here, this admin fee is not always going to be $500, but this business is easy to refer business to us once you can show the real world results yourself to your other business friends and associates, right? Hey, I invested in an Amazon business, they do all the work, right? But our admin fee by then, after the first 5, so get in quick, right, is going to be a measly $10,000 one-off fee. We are not advertising. You are going to refer us a client. We are going to sell them for $10,000 admin fee, which is 75% cheaper than what the gurus are at. And we are going to kick back we are going to kick back $3,000 to you for the referral, right? So you refer a client to us, you've already shown them the results yourself. They're like, yeah, I'm ready to get in. You don't tell them what the price is because it's ridiculous anyone even charging this for $500 for a seat at the table. You tell them it's a $10K for the seat at the table. There's no advertising. It's all referral based. We give you $3,000 back as soon as they pay. We take $7,000, right? And on top of that, we will give you, instead of us taking a 10% here, right? We will give you 3%. We will only take 7 and 3% of every single cent that they spend ever, you're going to get. So if you refer a client to us, you're going to make $3K referral USD, right? Plus, if they spend $1 million, right, over 2 years, you're making 3% on that, right? So this business model is my model. It's designed to show you the results. Once you get the results, it's designed to be 100% referral based, and you make amazing money not only from building generational wealth and cash flow while you sleep with your own Amazon e-commerce business, but every single time you refer a client to us, you make 3K back plus 3% of all the money they spend, and we send that 3K over right the minute that we receive their upfront admin fee, and we send the 3% to you for all of your referrals for all cash that they spent on inventory and shipping every quarter. So that is our business model. I hope it makes sense. When you're ready and I'm sure people will have one or two more questions, but they shouldn't have many after this. All right, then we will jump on a call, and I will always be upfront with you. You will never be palmed off to anyone. There will be only me to deal with. You're not having to deal with any high ticket closers or people, trying to put the hard sell on you. This is a no-brainer for people who know about Amazon. I look forward to seeing you if you guys jump on board.